Hello everyone, welcome to Power Electronics and Instrumentation class. We had already studied what are switched mode regulators, and in this video we are going to study the buck converter. Now, the buck converter is a DC to DC converter and it gives us an output DC voltage which is less than the input voltage, and the input voltage is also a DC value. So you can see over here it has been mentioned that the average output voltage it is less than the input voltage, or you can say VA is less than VS. You can see the circuit diagram given in the figure over here. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram given over here. This is your buck converter. Now look at the components present in your buck converter. You are having a BJT, you are having a diode, you are having an inductor, a capacitor, and finally the load. So effectively you are having four components. You are having a transistor, or you can just say that it is a switch. Instead of the BJT, you can use a MOSFET, an IGBT, and GTO. It doesn't matter. Okay. But according to some applications, you can change the devices according to your requirements. So over here, you can see you have a switch, a diode DM, an inductor, and a capacitor. The diode is a freewheeling diode. Okay. Now, your basic buck converter has two modes of operation. The first one is when the switch is turned on, and the second one is when the switch is turned off. Now, let's see what happens in mode 1. In mode 1, you're going to turn on your switch, or you're going to turn on this particular BJT by providing appropriate base signals to the particular BJT. And what will happen? The switch or the BJT will get turned on. So over here you will be having a short circuit, and what is going to happen? Your current starts to flow from the supply, and you can see over here that your diode is in the reverse bias condition. Therefore no current will flow through the diode, and the current is flowing from the supply, it is going through your switch. The inductor, it is flowing through the capacitor as well as the load and returning back to the supply. Now over here the current flowing through the inductor will be increasing. That means the inductor is storing energy inside the particular inductor. And the current through the capacitor will also be increasing, and we are going to assume that the load current is constant throughout the particular operation. That is, throughout the operation of the converter, your load current will be constant. So this is the operation that is happening within the buck converter when the switch is turned on. And what happens when the switch is turned off, or when your BJT is turned off? When your BJT is turned off, there is no particular device present over here. It has been open circuited. So what happens? If you noticed in the previous case, your inductor current was increasing. That means energy was getting stored within the inductor. And now the inductor is going to release the energy stored within it. So the current through the inductor starts to reduce. It flows through the capacitor as well as the load, and then goes. You can see over here your diode DM is forward biased. It will start to freewheel, and your current will come back to the particular inductor. And in this case, your supply voltage is not present, so Vs is 0. So this is the basic operation of your buck converter. We can just see the equivalent circuit of each mode and also the waveforms. Now this has already been explained. This is just showing us the equivalent circuit of the mode 1 as well as the mode 2. During mode 1, if you remember the operation that I had mentioned, your switch will be turned on, your inductor current will be increasing, capacitor current is increasing. We are going to assume that the load current is constant throughout the operation of the particular circuit, and it's returning back to the supply. So that is the turn on case. And what happens when your switch is turned off? So you can see over here our switch was present over here, and because the switch turned off, it got open circuited. And now what is going to happen? The energy which was stored in your inductor will get released, and it will start, the current will start to flow through the inductor. The current will be decreasing. The current through the capacitor will decrease. Your current through the load, we are assuming that the load current is constant throughout the operation of the circuit, and it's going through the freewheeling diode. You can see it is forward biased, and it is going and completing the circuit. So this is the equivalent circuit for the operation of the buck converter. Please note one thing, that whenever questions are asked based on the buck converter, you have to explain the modes of operation, and you need to write the modes of operation along with the equivalent circuit for each mode. So if you have two modes, you should have two circuits for explaining each mode. Okay, now let's move on to the waveforms of the buck converter. Let's move on to the waveforms of the buck converter. Now over here you can see the voltage. Over here you can see the voltage Vs. If you remember, when you had turned on the particular switch, the supply voltage, the current was starting from the supply voltage, and when you turned off the switch there was no voltage Vs. So that is why you are having pulsed waveforms. Now if you remember the operation of the circuit again, I'll just explain the operation of the circuit again. During the on time, the inductor current was increasing, and during the off time, the inductor current was decreasing. So if you're going to assume that the on time is also known as K into T or D into T, that is duty ratio times the total time period, then during the on time you have the inductor current increasing, and during the off time, if you remember, the energy stored within the inductor is released, so the inductor current starts to reduce. Now your next waveform is the supply current. If you're just going back to your particular circuit diagram, you can see over here, during the on time, the supply current is directly flowing through the inductor. This diode is not present over here. So IS and IL are same during the on time. During the on time, the supply current, the switch current and the inductor current are the same. But what happens when you are turning off the switch? When you're turning off the switch, the supply current is no longer flowing, but the inductor current is present. Okay, the supply current is not there, but the inductor current is still flowing. So the inductor current will start to reduce, but the supply current and also the switch current will be 0. So you can just see the waveform over here. You can see over here the inductor current, it is increasing during the on time and reducing during the off time. But you can see over here your supply current as well as your switch current during the on time. During the on time, it is same as that of your inductor current. You can see it is increasing, and after the on time, your supply current or switch current suddenly goes to 0, whereas your inductor current is still reducing. And then you have the capacitor current. The capacitor current, you can see over here, it is increasing, decreasing, increasing and decreasing. Okay, we are just looking at the slope. Now finally the output voltage. If you remember, in the output voltage during the on period, your inductor current was increasing. So effectively you can say that during the on time the voltage was increasing, and during the off time the voltage is a bit more lower. And now finally you can see that we had assumed that the output load current is constant throughout the operation of the particular circuit. Now we just have to study a small derivation on how to find out the output voltage of the particular converter. We are saying that the output voltage of the buck converter will be less than the input voltage or the supply voltage. Now you can see over here that we are going to find out this particular relationship between the input and the output by using a condition known as the inductor volt second balance. Okay, the inductor volt second balance. Now inductor volt second balance states that during the steady state operation, the average inductor voltage over one particular switching period or time period should be equal to 0. Okay, so that means if you're taking the voltage across the inductor and you're just taking one cycle, that is T on and T off, then the voltage across that particular inductor should be 0. So now if you are taking the voltage across an inductor, you can just take the integral of the particular voltage waveform. Okay, you can just take the integral. Now we can just see what is the value of the inductor voltage during particular conditions. Okay, so we need to find out the inductor voltage during each time period, that is during the on time as well as the off time. Now, during the on time, you can just see over here, your inductor is present over here during the on time. This is the equivalent circuit during the mode 1. Your inductor is present over here. What will be the voltage present across the inductor during the on time? So if you have any confusions, you can just take 2 points on two sides of the inductor and you can just find out the potential difference. Now, the current is flowing in this particular direction like this. Okay, your current is flowing this particular direction. So what is happening? You have higher potential minus lower potential. What is the higher potential? Your higher potential is Vs, that is present over here, and your lower potential is Va, that is the load voltage Va. So during the on time, the inductor voltage is Vs minus Va. Okay, and during the off condition or during mode 2, what will be the inductor voltage? Again, we can just do it using the same procedure. You have 2 points over here, 2 points. Now, again, the current is flowing in the same direction. Okay, this is due to the property of the inductor. It will try to maintain the direction of the current in the same direction. So, your current is still flowing in the same direction. Now, which is the higher potential over here? Your higher potential is this particular point. Now, what will be the voltage at this particular point? You can see over here when your diode is conducting, in the case of an ideal diode, the voltage will be 0. Okay, so over here you can see that this is the ground. So at this particular point your voltage is 0, and on this particular point, that is over here, if you are checking the load, your voltage at this particular point will be Va. So the voltage across the inductor during this time period will be 0 minus Va. Okay, so now you can just apply the volt second balance to the particular circuit and you will get that integral over T L dt is equal to 0. And because there are certain changes happening in the waveform, that is during on time and off time there is a change in the operation of the circuit, you will divide the integration into two parts, that is 0 to T on and T on to T. And now you have already found out what will be the voltage across the inductor during the on time and what will be the voltage across the inductor during the off time. We have seen that during the on time the voltage across the inductor is Vs minus Va, and during the off time the voltage across the inductor is minus Va. So you can just substitute these values over here. Okay, and you can just integrate this particular equation, and on rearrangement, okay, I'm not going to explain all of these steps. You can just rearrange on your own and you can see that you will get the relationship between the output voltage and the input voltage in terms of a value called the duty ratio. And the duty ratio is, Va by Vs is equal to the duty ratio. Or you can say that the duty ratio is equal to T on divided by T. Okay, now these are the equations for the voltage ripple under the continuous conduction and the current ripple under the continuous conduction. You can just go through the equations. We do not have to study the derivation of these particular ripple equations. Now, what are the voltage? What do you mean by the voltage ripple and the current ripple? Okay, now you can see over here that the voltage ripple, if you are looking closely at this particular waveform, this is the output voltage. You can see that you have not obtained a perfect DC value. Your waveform is increasing and decreasing. Similarly, if you are looking at your particular inductor current, you can see that the waveform is not a straight line, it is increasing and decreasing. So the value is oscillating along a particular time, along a particular magnitude, and this oscillation is called a particular ripple. So you have the ripple equations are also given over here. So these are all of the basic details based on the buck converter. If you have any doubts, you can contact me in the operation of the buck converter. Okay, so please stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.